All right, well, how about that state of play, huh? Oh man, I don't mean to be too negative. I know that it's easy. It's easy to throw shade. And I get it. There was some stuff at the state of play that was definitely worth looking at. Like, don't get me wrong. There was there were some bangers. There were a couple in there. But unfortunately, I kind of feel like the vast majority of what we saw from the state of play today was not good. At least not great. Nothing really like to be that excited about. That being said, I know that there's a Summer Game Fest coming up in like what, 3 days or something? 2 days now, I think. A lot of people are excited about like Arc Raiders and stuff because there's supposed to be some sort of big reveal at that point. I don't know. It's just it's funny when they do these shows, not just like award shows, but just these reveal shows as well. And it's just never quite as big of a wow as some people would expect it to be, you know? It just doesn't have the wow factor. It's funny, I actually didn't see the beginning of this tech demo yet. Looks a little bit darker on the stream, but I'm not going to mess with the lighting too much. Yeah, so the funny thing about this tech demo, the fact that they're actually calling it a tech demo, which is the funniest part. If you want to waste your time, just watch the state of play. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I had it on at work, and so I just, had it on somebody else's stream on the background. They were talking about what they liked, what they didn't like. I watched some of it. Nothing about it seemed that interesting. There was okay, so the Silent Hill game for sure, and we'll get into like the individual games and all that. The Silent Hill game looked really good, really creepy. There were a couple side-scrolling games that looked all right, but in general, I just don't think there was much of anything really to like get that excited about. I don't know. Dude, get away from the cat. Bourbon, come here. But yeah, this tech demo though, this is the funniest thing because I I don't even feel like getting excited or hyped about it. And Neo 3 is going to use body type. Yeah, I saw that. That's the craziest thing too. And I get it. I get it. Not everybody cares. Not everyone cares about the whole body type 1, body type 2, body type A or B thing. Okay, so I think it's stupid, but I also didn't get that worked up about it when I saw it in Elden Ring because at that time I really wasn't paying too much attention to why they were doing it. Now it's like, okay, now I see it and I just get annoyed, you know? Didn't want to watch the commentary. Sony put in Japanese games first and they start pushing the woke slop. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I love at the very bottom of this video it says technical presentation, not actual gameplay. That is like, I love it. I love it because it's supposed to be like this big wow thing, right? It's supposed to be like this big wow moment. And how do you get excited about that? Especially given the fact that there have been so many years where we've seen how this stuff goes, right? And everything you see is not what you're going to see in the finished product. You watch State of Play around 2:30 a.m. to talk about ruining sleep schedule. Oh my god, dude, that's not worth staying up for, man. That's not worth it. But the thing is, I didn't have to stay up till 2 a.m. For me, it was the middle of the afternoon, and I was at work, so it was pretty easy to keep track of. But yeah, this Witcher 4 tech demo. Like I said, I don't even know how to feel about it specifically. Well, it looks fake because it's a tech demo. So it's not a vertical slice of the game itself. It is just the potential for what we can do with this game. Now look, okay, let's just pause it right here. This aesthetically, if we're just talking about the way it looks, it's like, holy crap. Gorgeous, right? The colors, the vibrancy, the environment, the shadows, the lighting, absolutely mind-blowing. So again, if they were just going to make a movie, let's say they were making like a CG movie or a short film or something, fantastic, love it, great, 10 out of 10 quality. But this isn't the way a video game works, right? Well, CD Projekt Red is banking on the positive word of mouth ever since Phantom Liberty. Phantom Liberty, I think, was that the expansion for Cyberpunk? I think it was Phantom Liberty. Ever since that came out to, you know, massive praise and applause, and of course people who love the Witcher series, they are banking on a lot of goodwill. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, Mahendra, I'd recorded a video talking about it, but at the same time, I was having video issues last night when I recorded my video. So I got done with the recording of the audio, me talking about all this bullshit. I went to edit everything and it was all a mess, right? Rather than watch the state of play, worked out the forearms, had a turkey sandwich, and took a nap before work. Working out them forearms. Yeah, you can never get enough of that, you know, forearm action. Seems well within UE5 in their prior games. You know, but yeah, the whole thing was, I have the tweet saved somewhere, that yes, the tech demo, the demo of Witcher 3 in 2013, looked vastly different than the finished product in 2015. Much rather a CD Projekt Red Witcher series using the game engine. Oh, you mean the red engine that they have? Yeah. Well, see, the thing about it is, here's what they're going for, and they talk about this in some of the reviews, the way that the fabric moves around the horse, but you're not going to get that. This is the annoying thing about the whole tech demo versus cutscene versus in-game footage conversation, right? Here's the frustrating thing about it. You're not going to get this fabric perfectly falling around the horse and her legs and blowing in the breeze in a video game, because there's going to be clipping that happens from time to time. It's not a perfect medium, okay? There's always going to be things that, you know, interfere with other objects in this virtual space. So to compliment, like to rave about this, some of the reviews I read about this tech demo, to actually go crazy about the fabric moving in the wind. Oh, half-incher, huh? Damn. What do you... That's a cat toy. You can't chew on a cat toy. Oh. Oh, God. Got one of these little mice and completely destroyed it. Holy crap. Dogs. Gotta love them. But yeah, I just think it's a weird thing to go all crazy about a tech demo, you know? Like, again, you're not going to have this perfect movement of the fabric in a video game. Yeah, it's just CG animation. Exactly. You're just making, essentially, a movie, you know? Nothing other than gameplay should be used in advertisements. I mean, that's... Okay. They've got the musculature on the horse. That's very impressive. And you can see, again, just the different textures and stuff. Very cool. I really don't care about all that, though. I really don't. And I say this as somebody who is waiting. I'm on pins and needles, guys. I am literally, like, refreshing every 5 minutes right now on, like, Amazon and Newegg, trying to see if these 9060s have gone on sale yet. Because I don't want to have to wait months and months down the road. I'm trying to see if they have the 9060s yet before the scalpers get a hold of them, you know? But I can respect, you know, high quality graphics and everything else. I get it. But at the same time, graphics and textures and all that, they aren't everything to a game. It doesn't replace good gameplay. It doesn't replace a good story or a good experience. Again, I don't need every one of these trees to be perfectly swaying in the wind. I don't have to have every one of them have a perfect same number of needles or leaves on them. If the tech demo is made by Rockstar, you believe in the tech demo? Even then, that might be giving them too much credit. I mean, really. I don't know, but for me, the whole tech demo thing, I don't understand the point. I don't understand why anybody cares. Okay, so Mahendra, I'll push back on that. Not that I disagree with you, but just to play devil's advocate, you know, to try to offer like an alternate argument. Haven't given what we've had in the past, right? We've had girl characters in video games, lead characters in games that haven't sucked, right? If you go back to like Blood Rain, that character was awesome. Of course, Lara Croft Tomb Raider. You have characters who aren't overbearing girl bosses in video games. The problem is this is being written by modern narrative directors and story writers and stuff, modern audience-seeking writers. Hey, Mr. Hardcore Mode. What's up? Is my younger son just lost his second elimination game in the playoffs, and he's officially out. That water looks bad. Let me go back. Hang on a second. Yeah, I actually haven't sat down and really analyzed this tech demo yet. Water is right there. I don't know if I'd say it looks bad. It looks weird. I'll give you that. I'm gonna be a lesbian and a girl boss. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about, I guess, Cirilla being a lesbian. Apparently in these stories, because the whole thing about the Witcher games is they're like, well, she was already bisexual or lesbian because the books. As I understand it, as somebody who did not read the books yet, apparently she was essentially assaulted by another woman, like it wasn't consensual. So, is that really like what you want to go with? Is that she's gay because in the books she was assaulted by another woman? It looks like portal goop. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate. It looks like some sort of like oozy, gooey liquid, not actual water. But again, we're gonna get the close up on the branches and the needles and everything else to show you just how intricate this is, and that's great. That's awesome. I'm sure if I were an environmental artist, I might look at this and go, this is breathtaking. The amount of work that went into this is fantastic, right? But I'm not. I'm just a guy. So I look at this and go, yes, the world looks really vibrant, and the colors. Here's the thing. The colors in this are so far removed. Like, compare it to the Oblivion remaster that we saw, where when it came out, everything was muted and kind of that piss brown, murky color. This is green and lush, and the colors are very sharp and vibrant. On paper, if this was an actual video game, that'd be really cool. Unreal Engine 6 is coming after the PS6. When does the PS6 come out? She focused on her survival in the books. The third game mentioned it. So it wasn't really so as I understand it, it wasn't something that was like set in stone in the books where it's like canonically Cirilla is a lesbian. Interesting. Yeah, I played the third game. I didn't play all the DLC, but I remember something about people always go back to, well, she was already a lesbian. It's like, well, okay. So you say, Comes out in 2028 to 2029. God, I hate that we're already looking forward to like the late 2020s. Holy crap, where did time go, guys? Where did all the time go? I'm not buying the Switch 2 right now. Too busy renting from her Destiny? Well, there you go. That sounds like most kids. No, I'm not picking up a Switch 2 right now. Especially given what I'm hearing about Mario Kart. Mario Kart is the big platform game. It's not my favorite game on the Switch, but it's the big platform game, right? So if Mario Kart is bland and boring or lifeless, as some reviews are saying, why the hell would I rush out and buy it now? Again, these interactions are not going to happen in a video game. Not in the way that they're happening here. Oh yeah, the Switch 2 removed gender options. The Miis are now type 1, type 2, or I can't remember what it said. Basically, it just says that they might conform or relate to genders in a game. So basically, it's like a trigger warning. The Miis on the Switch 2 have a trigger warning essentially telling you, well, this might be something that's gendered in a game if you select one of these two types, right? I don't get it. I truly don't understand. Oh my god. Didn't like any of the Mario Karts after Double Dash. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the only one I've ever played, all right? When I say that after childhood I didn't play Mario games, I'm not kidding. The only Mario game that I played after Super Nintendo was freaking Smash Brothers or Dr. Mario. I think I had Dr. Mario was on the original Nintendo, I think. Yeah, that was original NES. Yeah, I played the first 3, 4 Mario games. I just didn't do Mario after that, you know? Be happy good games in all genres being made. Oh no, for sure, Brandon. No, I find it funny to call it state of mid. I don't think everything in the state of play was bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to tell you that every game. There were actually some good looking games. I just think that unfortunately right now there is also a lot of mid that comes out, and not just from Sony. No, I legit don't care about the console war crap. I just find it funny to kind of poke the bear once in a while. Man, just no. Okay, so Mahendra, let me. Here's an interesting topic. All right, so let's deviate from the video here because the topic of conversation around this tech demo was, oh my god, they fixed her face, and everyone's like, see, look at her face before, look at her face now. Did you play Diddy Kong Racing or Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot, yes, but it wasn't mine. I think I played it on somebody else's system. I did not play Diddy Kong Racing. You gotta remember, so going back to that whole, what did that guy say? Randy Pitchford, about how, I had to work 5 jobs and walk uphill in the snow both ways barefoot for 10 years straight to buy one video game. That was kind of my childhood with video games. They were expensive. We didn't have a whole lot of money. My mom hated video games. And so if we were going to get any games for our system at all, it was like a couple a year. Maybe a couple for Christmas and one for a birthday. So for the Super Nintendo, I think I might have had a total of maybe a dozen, maybe 15 games. The original Nintendo, probably about 10. The N64 is when I really started to expand. And then GameCube, I had a shitload of games for GameCube I never even played. I go to Game Crazy, buy them used, and never play them. And then, of course, now on Steam, having Steam, I've got, dozens of games that I just have either never played, never finished, or don't have time to play. Didn't buy a 64 until like 2002. Yeah, we got it the second year after it came out. I think the first year it came out might have been 2001. I can't remember. I got to dig way back to even try to remember when these things came out. I'm old, man. I rented a few games. I rented Wind Waker, didn't finish it. Video game cartridges cost around 50 cents? When did video games cost 50 cents? In the 2000s? I think you're got the dollar conversion rate off there. So here is the funniest part. There's been all this conversation, all this drama about whether or not they quote unquote fixed her face, whether it's the same face with a different filter, different camera, all this stuff, right? The craziest part is that somebody asked Kalamba, the game director, yesterday on Twitter if it was the same character model, and he says yes. Then today I saw this article from Kotaku that says The Witcher 4 gets new cinematic trailer revealing a slightly different looking Ciri in a 9-minute gameplay tech demo. Apparently, they did actually, quote-unquote, fix her face. So as much as I've been saying, I'm pretty sure it's the same face model, it looks pretty similar, it could just be a different camera, I guess they actually did do some different things. I don't know. It's really crazy. Who the hell was Jadaboo? Probably one of these people that joined Discord trying to sell me freaking... Oh, that gal, I think she was trying to sell me, like... digital art or some crap like that. Hey, Vernum. It's not morning here. I'm just in mourning for my son's team. He lost his baseball game, so he's all out. Now, it's not even 10 o'clock here. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta refresh. Hang on. I'm trying to see, because the 9060s go on sale tomorrow on the 5th. I'm trying to see if they're actually available yet or not. So I'm trying to stay on top of this. I already told the wife, do not get me anything for my birthday or for Father's Day. I'm getting myself one of these GPUs if I can actually get a hold of one. So, because based on everything I've read about, based on all the reviews, if I pick up one of these 9060s, it'll last me the next couple years. This has been one of those things that I've been putting it off for forever. Let's see. Witcher 4 looks astonishing in a new Unreal Fest tech demo. Well, I can't stand that they, in the same sentence, say it looks amazing and it's a tech demo. It's the most retarded thing. It's like, of course it's gonna look amazing. It's not a real game. But I've been on the path long enough to know the visuals that delight our eyeballs years out from release don't always reflect how a game ends up looking. No, duh. CD Projekt Red developers shared the stage at Epic Games Unreal Fest in Orlando. Blah, blah, blah. Sequel will be the Polish studio's first after ditching its in-house game engine. That's a mistake. Okay, think about it this way, guys. So, I was thinking about this the other day, because oftentimes there's so much negativity around something that it makes it really hard to enjoy it, right? It could be bad press about a game you like, or a system or a console you like playing, or whatever. And at the end of the day, it's like there's just so much bad PR, bad energy, if you will. I'm not one of those energy people, but the bad energy around it, that you just saps all of your enjoyment out of it, right? Again, for a lot of people that happened with shit like the whole Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 thing, and I never went back and played the game because I'm just like, I'm kind of sick of the whole damn saga. I'm sick of the game. I'm sick of the conversation around it. I'm not going to play the game. I'll go back to it whenever I feel like it. The thing about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is their game engine, the game ran like butter on my machine over here. And sure, I had to tweak some of the graphics and I had to turn things down. That's normal for the graphics card that I have in this system. But on their Cry engine, the game ran incredibly well, incredibly smooth. And it makes me wonder why. I get that making everything on the same engine will probably make everything a more seamless transition between different consoles and different ports. And of course, getting developers from different companies that all know how to use the same engine. So it makes sense that these people are all using the same thing, or, eventually moving on to the same engine across the industry. But why give up something that works so well just to conform with what everybody else is doing? Oh, performance on that game it's so good. It's rumored to be a pain in the ass. I know, Avernum, but okay. My gameplay experience of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 thus far, after about 10 hours, I didn't get into a whole ton of the game, right? And sure, I turned down the graphics, the shadows, those kind of things to make it run a little bit easier on my system. But even with acknowledging that the graphics are going to take kind of a hit when you do that, when you tweak different settings, the game itself, when you're out in the open and you're just like, say you're collecting herbs and all that, the amount of different items that are scattered across the map at a constant rate, with people doing their daily chores, with quests, with, weather and day and nighttime, schedule and all that, it is insane how great that game runs compared to a lot of the slop we've seen on Unreal Engine 5. Talk about the whole tech demo thing, right? I played freaking Hellblade 2 when it released on Game Pass. That game, in theory, could have been a very beautiful game. Now, it wasn't because the characters looked terrible, but it could have been a really beautiful game, and a lot of people said it was a really cool tech demo. The game itself ran like dog shit. The game was awful, and that was even turning some settings down to make the game run properly. It just ran like a slog. It was awful. People of all preferences only want to see games that they want to play. Yes and no, Oblivion. I get that not every game is for everybody. I think the one positive from the state of play is that they actually had a decent mix of games. There was a little bit of, look, they had the Marvel fighting game, they had the side-scrolling games, the Ninja Gaiden games, your Final Fantasy Tactics remastered, re-release or whatever, Silent Hill for the horror thriller fans and stuff. I just don't get excited about these freaking these game release shows. I don't know. I don't. There just hasn't been a whole lot that's made me that excited. Look, I would buy and play Elden Ring Night Rain right now if I could. I could buy it, but I don't have time to play it right now. But the tech demo or the trailer that we saw for it back in December didn't really have me going, oh my god, I have to play this, I have to buy it. So I was like, oh cool, another game. Okay, well, another game that we'll see if it's good or not. It's a FromSoft game, so it's probably going to be solid. Oh look, it's multiplayer, it's based on Elden Ring. Oh, it could be cool. I wasn't like chomping at the bit like, oh my god, I have to play it. There are a few games now and then that are like, okay, for some weird reason they kind of resonate with you and you really want to play them. But in general, these kind of shows just don't do it for me. I don't know. Could just be me, but I feel like it's the same way with a lot of people. Says a new cinematic trailer showed crooked elites getting their just desserts when a Manticore flies down. We all know that. Okay. Observing for clues, as if her mind had shifted into detective mode, it's clear she looks a little different from her appearance in The Witcher 4's initial reveal at the Game Awards 2025. Is that emblematic of a shift moving forward? While she's supposed to be much older now, her new model looked different than what fans may have expected. CD Projekt Red later revealed a behind-the-scenes video about the making of the 2024 cinematic trailer and noted that the character models naturally look different depending on the rendering style and medium. Which I know not everybody wanted to hear. But I think that's fair, that depending on, like I said, lighting, camera lens, camera angle, all sorts of things can change facial structure, or at least the way that they appear at a glance, right? Says, at this point, any character's appearance may vary depending on the medium, whether it's in a trailer, a 3D model, or in-game, game director Sebastian Colombo wrote at the time. A spokesperson for CD Projekt Red told Kotaku that only 2 changes were made to Ciri in the new trailer, one of which has already been changed again. It's the same character model used in the 2024 trailer. Ciri's face is a direct copy of the Witcher 3 model, adapted to work with the latest metahuman technology. 2 subtle changes were made to improve animation quality, slightly raised eyebrows and a more relaxed eye area. The latter was present in the trailer, but since has been removed. So, the funniest shit is when they want to be like, oh no, it's the same character, nothing changed, and then you find out it's like, well, we actually did change a couple things. So, I'm over here in the camp of people saying, I don't think she looks great, but I don't think she looks bad. Sure, it's a cinematic, it's not going to look the same as the in-game graphics, and it's not going to necessarily match Witcher 3 because it's a different engine, and the character's gotten older. Like, all these things. But then when they actually come out and say, well, it's the same character, but we actually changed a couple things, right? They don't get the benefit of the doubt. They're absolute liars. Yeah, I get that, Black Hat. I agree. At this point, I was explaining the show don't tell, the idea of show don't tell to my son earlier today, talking about, coaching versus you can coach a kid, you can coach a team and tell them what to do, or you can show them how to do it and have them do it themselves, right? It's kind of like with storytelling, show don't tell. Don't explain every little detail, actually show them. People are intelligent, they can figure it out for themselves. Unfortunately, with CDPR, they're going to have to show us. They can tell us all day long what they want to make and what they want us to think about it. Or they can tell you, oh no, nothing's different, don't believe your eyes. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to show up and actually give a good product people actually want, Oh yeah, no, Blithian, you're right about that. Hey, Gikazu. That is UE5 from AAA Studio, going to be a stutterfest. Yeah, that's what I worry about, Avernum. So even after I pick up a new GPU at some point, it's still going to have performance issues. And I got 64 freaking gigs of RAM here, so a decent processor with again, if I pick up a 9060 overnight or the first thing in the morning, if I can get a hold of one, that's a mid-range GPU, right? That should run games like this, most UE5 games, reasonably well. Oh, DB Wild. Show don't tell is also what Catholic priests live by. Not sure it's the same though. Slightly different variation on that, my dude. Hey, Tekla. Gays and gamers, so me and everybody else. You can figure out which one's which. But yeah, I find it funny because I'll be the first person to say, when I look at face models, if I look at the tech demo and I look at the side-by-side of Ciri from the trailer versus the tech demo, I'm like, it's virtually the same face. I understand that it looks a little different, like with lighting and the eyes and this and that. But then they actually come out and say, oh no, we did change things. It's the same, but it's changed. It's like, well, then it's not the same. If you changed anything, it's no longer the same model. So if you saw a difference between the tech demo Cirilla and the cinematic trailer we got back beginning of the year, it's for a reason. It's not exactly the same face. Yeah, the state of play was interesting. Basically, yeah. State of play was interesting. They spent like what, half an hour talking about this Marvel Token Fighting Souls announced by Arc Systems Works here. Is it? I don't understand. I don't get it. Yes, try to make the game run on a potato and then add bells and whistles. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Now it's basically if you don't have a top of the line, console or computer, well, basically screw you. Crazy thing is you don't have to lie. It's fine. I mean, you shouldn't have to lie. I think people respect honesty far more than anything else. I think even if a developer feels a way about a game, or let's say somebody who's making a movie or writing a story feels different than their audience, people would respect them more if they would just tell the truth, you know? Well, there are some people who are excited about Silent Hill F, which I think looks fine. I'm not a big Silent Hill guy, but I think it looks interesting. So, okay. Here's going to be the next thing, guys. Here's going to be the next thing. There's going to be an online argument. It's probably going to happen overnight and spill over into the wee hours of tomorrow morning. And it'll be going for a couple days. And I know that there are people on both sides of the issue going, it's woke, it's not woke, or whatever. This James Bond reveal. First off, James Bond is in a really bad place. James Bond, the movies, have been in a bad place for a long time. They've been trying in Hollywood to push the idea of a female James Bond, an emasculated James Bond, a non-womanizing James Bond, a non-white James Bond. They've been trying to push this idea for a long time. So then we get this reveal for this game. And sure enough, it's a white English guy. That's cool. That's great. But the rest of the trailer, I guess Moneypenny has been race swapped. She's now a black chick. Who was his boss? Was it M or was it Q? I can't remember. Is now an Indian chick. And then there's a black guy. So right away in the trailer, the first 4 people you see in this British-English spy story, one of them is English, 2 of them are black, 1 of them's Indian. Now, sure, they're British, but they're not English, right? Bella Ramsey is perfect in everything. Head Obscura, what is that? I hate it, Sheer. I absolutely hate it. I think that they should use their own engine. I think it's unfortunate that everybody is going to Unreal Engine and not just sticking with what works for them, you know? I think it's a mistake. Mudflood UK. I mean, Hook, you're not wrong about some of that. Silent Hill mid, just like the early demo before the remake, it's gonna be boring. It looked interesting though. I will say as someone who's not a huge Silent Hill fan, because again, I didn't own a PlayStation growing up, so I was gate kept to a certain degree out of playing Silent Hill games. Hang on a second. I think they're cool looking games. I love Pyramid Head. I love some of the scary nurses and shit. The games look cool. As far as I know, they have really interesting stories. But it's just not something that I was ever that hung up on. You get to be browbeaten while being 007. James Bond's just a Netflix movie. Yeah, so anyways, a lot of people are like, why are you calling James Bond woke? Because there's some black people in it. And it's honestly, I don't think it's just because of a few brown people in the trailer. I don't think it's just that. I think it's because James Bond as an entire franchise has been browbeaten to the point where people just no longer care. You know, if that makes sense, I think people are just sick and tired of things that they love, like James Bond. And I used to love James Bond movies. No, I never played GoldenEye. I thought that Pierce Brosnan was a terrible James Bond. But I loved Timothy Dalton, Sean Connery, all them as James Bond. Again, I'm not the kind of person who goes, oh no, there's a brown person in my game. I'm not playing it, it's woke. But I find it really weird, the intentional choices that are made. And I was talking about this on Kata's stream earlier. Kata, we all know he's black, right? And he doesn't go crying, screaming racism about every little thing. He's like, I don't see the problem with this. I'm like, Kata, the problem is that this is a game set in England. And when you look at the current modern demographics of places like London, English people, white English people, are going to be a minority in their own country pretty soon here. I think by the year 2050, they're saying they're going to actually be a minority in their own country, and they're already a minority in London. Like legitimately in London, English people are the actual minority ethnic group. So it's really strange. It feels once again like shoehorned diversity. It just, I don't know. See, Daniel Craig was good in the first movie, but you're right. He wasn't really James Bond. He was more action hero. Oh, it's always, yeah, no, race swapping. It's always white to brown or male to female. It's never the other way around. You think CDPR switching to UE5 is a smart move? Because, you know, they got rid of the old guard developers. Well, yeah, I mean, hell, a lot of the people behind the scenes on The Witcher 3 and I guess Cyberpunk 2077 are over at, is it Red Wolf? What's the name of the studio that's making the Dawn Walker game? I just don't like Pierce Brosnan as an actor. He kind of gives me the, I don't know. I don't, he gives me, without sounding too much like a twink myself, he gives me the ick. um, like Q, who always complains about how 007 does things. It's funny when it's a British guy, it becomes current day when it's a woman of color. Right, I mean, there's that. Yeah, I thought his first movie was pretty good. I don't know, I liked it. Hey, Warrior Norman. Oh, yeah, the Black Panther that's now white, guys. I couldn't believe that that shit was real. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how in modern day in the comics, especially with frickin' Marvel and DC the way they are, with everybody is now gay or lesbian or bisexual or fat or this or that. Like all these comic characters have been completely retconned. Um, how did they have the white son of T'Challa? How did that happen? I just don't understand it. Right? It's crazy. So then we had Neo 3 announced, but again, one of the things that people are going to be pissed off about now with Neo 3 is the Type 1, Type 2 bodies. I don't understand why here's the thing. I can look at it and say, like I said, Elden Ring had Type A and Type B bodies or whatever. Monster Hunter Wilds had the same shit. It's annoying, it's stupid, it's cringe. If it's a good game, people are still going to play the game and basically ignore that part of it. I just don't understand the rationale behind making them Type A and B or Type 1 and 2 instead of just calling them freaking male and female. What's the point? Rebel Wolves, thank you. Yeah, like 30 people that left with, is it Tomiskowitz? I think is how you pronounce it. But all of them were 12 to 17 years senior in CDPR. It was a lot of people. The top 3 or 4 people at the studio were heavily involved in Witcher 3. I'm pretty positive about that. Like actual like quest designers, gameplay designers, all that kind of stuff. Happened because they haven't got a single drop of creativity in their writers. Yeah, Black Cat. Apparently that's a thing now. They were showing it online. I'd say skull, but I don't know what skull means. Oh man. So yeah, that's a thing now. I still gotta play Neo 2. I've had a copy of Neo 2 forever. I've never played it. There's a golf game, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. This is gonna have a more target audience, I think. Not everyone's gonna care as much. This Bloodstained game looked like a mobile game to me, honestly. Final Fantasy Tactics, don't really care. Blood of the Dawnwalker will be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like the most amazing game of all time, but if it comes out around the same time as Witcher 4, it will be funny to see the head-to-head. Oh, it's cheers or thanks. Okay. I took German. I don't know anything in the more northern Scandinavian dialects. Come up with a better story than whatever DEI is knee and Marvel made in the past decade, and work improving that slowly but surely. Hey, Vernum, honestly, like, go for it, dude. I think most people, if they just start creating stuff themselves, sure, obviously, you're gonna fail a lot and have to try, you know, your hardest to actually get a story written that anybody wants to, you know, produce and actually make a movie out of, or, you know, a show or whatnot. But if enough people actually put their mind to it, I think there's enough talent out there that Hollywood should be scared because people are sick and tired of their shit. I mean, look at how many films just are not making money back after their bloated budgets that they have, you know? Creating stuff from scratch is the only way to do it at this point. It's a summary, not a watch along. What are we talking about? Rise of Ronin already had that. Most games have body types. It is what it is. Better than that than pronouns. I get that, Geek, but at the same time, I still find it retarded. Like I've said before, I don't have an issue where I'm like, oh my god, if it has type 1 or type 2, I won't buy it. I'll bitch about it. I'll complain about it. I don't buy a lot of games. Like, for me, the game has to be really good if I'm going to buy it anyways. If it's the only thing in a game, like Elden Ring, if it's the only thing in the game that would keep me from buying it, that would not be the thing that would make or break the game for me. I'm still going to find it retarded. I still think it's this lazy, pathetic way of trying to pander without overly pandering to a specific group of people that these developers do. And they go, you know what, this is just the easiest thing. Our new normal is not going to be male and female. It's just going to be type 1 and type 2. Because that way we think we're not going to make anybody mad. When in reality, they should piss off everybody. The type 1 and type 2, the type A and B thing, it doesn't pander to anyone. Because there's not a person alive who's a type 1 or a type 2 body. You know? I think Witcher 4 will be commercially bigger than Dawn Walker, but Rebels will blow them out of the water with a living open world. I think you're right about that, and I think Dawn Walker has the potential to make its money back faster, depending on how they spend their money, than Witcher 4. I think it really, really comes down to how much they blow on, you know, development and all that. What really makes me mad is the censorship. I mean, yeah, censorship in general. If it's something that's not illegal, like, you know, actual calls for violence or things that involve children, like the obvious things, censoring it is completely insane. This Romeo is a dead man one. Man, I don't know about that. There were some people who were hyped for this game. I watched the trailer and I was like, I feel like I've taken acid. Like, I don't know what to take out of this.
Today is Saturday, which means curry time.
I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. I mean, this intro here alone had me going WTF. Like, I didn't get it. Once it got into the actual gameplay past all this weird shit, I mean, maybe this could be good. I don't know. This almost felt like Intergalactic, which ironically, guys, there was no trailer, demo, cutscene, nothing from Intergalactic, nothing from freaking Marathon. Marathon comes out in September, and there was nothing on State of Play about Marathon. Nothing about Fair Game. Absolutely insane. Oh, it's beyond cringe. Yeah, Avernum, I've been saying for a while, I think that unfortunately the Type 1 and 2 is just the quote-unquote industry standard at this point, if you will. Not that I am trying to justify it. I don't think it makes it good. I don't think it makes it acceptable. I'm just saying for these guys, that's the new norm, you know? It's the same type of useless BS as the video progress bar here on YouTube that slowly turns magenta. Ultra-violent science fiction. I mean, ultra-violent, that's cool. I just feel like this game is like an acid trip, man. You're a type 9. I'm a type twig and berries. I'm a type, you know, with the stem on the apple. Let me see. What else was there? Was that it? Yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot else in there to talk about. This was the funny one, too. This was actually before the State of Play. Legacy Killa said, I hope Sony gets the hint and understands that we do not need to see Marathon or Fair Game during the State of Play. Two games I have close to zero faith in right now. And ironically, neither one of these, not a word. Not a freaking nothing. Somebody asked, do you think Intergalactic will be a no-show? Legacy Killer said that's probably still a few years away, but a new sneak peek at gameplay wouldn't surprise me. We didn't get anything about Intergalactic either. Seems to be a how do you do fellow gamers kind of thing. Right, exactly. That's standard for a dying industry, yeah. I don't think AAA has much to go anymore. They're already fleecing us with everything and still not profitable. I don't know if I'd say they're not profitable. Here's the thing about the AAA industry is they're making record profits, but they are spending an insane amount of money. So while they have record high sales and record high revenue, that profit margin is I'm sure shrinking ever smaller. So sure, you could say, well, the video game industry is a quote unquote like $60 billion a year industry, or whatever the number is, right? But if you're spending more than you ever have in the past, your profit margin is going to start shrinking exponentially to the point where it's like, well, we're making more than we ever have, but we're spending 5 times what a game used to cost, because it sounds cooler than Type 1 and they're marginalized my gender identity by forcing a binary decision or something. Oblivion, just make it up as you go along, man. Yeah, if they can't recoup their spending, they aren't profitable. The thing is, I think if you added up the top selling games, they're the most profitable games with the highest budget games that flopped and everything else, I think the video game industry is still in a net profit situation where they're still making money more than they're spending. But the question is how much, All right, Oblivion, have a good night, buddy. Yeah, I should probably wake up early too, one of these days. Tomorrow's going to be another freaking hellish day. But I'm terrified to go to sleep without verifying whether or not these 4060s are going to be available tonight. Not 4060s, 9060s. I keep like refreshing Amazon every 5 minutes. Like, all right, are they here now? I needed to set up a bot or something to buy one if they went available. After I heard that Sony canceled all paid marketing plans for Marathon, Bungie's definitely screwed. Dude, that one right there, canceling their paid marketing. That is a huge no-no. Okay, think about it this way. Arc Raiders has an announcement coming in 2 days. 2 days. Summer Game Fest is here, and Arc Raiders, which had far better reception by people who played the alpha. The game, everyone's saying the game's ready to go. Just drop the game, do a shadow drop like Oblivion Remastered. We want to play the game. That game has some new announcement coming out in 2 days. Meanwhile, Marathon has had plagiarism. You've had this proximity chat controversy. You've had all these massive issues with the game. People saying it's boring, it's dull, the graphics look like crap. It's uninspired, all this stuff. And that one's supposed to come out in September. Like, there's no way that Bungie's not screwed at this point. There's absolutely no way. Let me see here. Oh, here's a good one. How many people? I want to find something out real quick. I was curious about this. Let me see here. I didn't do a whole lot of research before I started the stream, so just bear with me for a second. AAA seems trying to run its goodwill into the ground. Haven't seen a new idea, just half-assed remakes and games that barely live up to their past titles. Yeah. Or you get things that are new ideas-ish, like this one here. The Elden Ring Night Rain game, I'd say is it's a new idea, given the fact that it's not a live service game. It is just an online multiplayer game that they're not trying to like nickel and dime you to death on microtransactions. They don't have any plans for like winter or holiday content, nothing like that. It is just a buy game. Maybe we'll have DLC, then you could buy DLC. Just kind of a standalone game, which is rare given the industry, the current state of the industry, as you will, right? So the crazy thing about Elden Ring Night Rain is they still haven't beaten their peak of 313,000 people when it first launched. And yet the game has sold 3.5 million copies in 5 days, which is insane to me. The thing about these numbers that is making me like scratch my head, there's no crossplay. There's no crossplay at all. So Elden Ring Night Rain, kind of like Marathon, no proximity chat, no voice chat. Over here, you've got 300,000 people playing it on Steam for your all-time peak, right? Currently 153,000. The game is available, I think, on everything but the Switch. It might be on the Switch, I don't know. And yet, they're saying they've sold 3.5 million copies, but this number is not going up. It's the weirdest thing. Monster Hunter with Dark Souls, interesting, but we already have Monster Hunter. Yeah. There's that. I think it's for people who, when they played Elden Ring, they liked it, but they didn't like the fact that most Souls games have a very unorthodox multiplayer system, again, with the summons and all that. They don't ever have like a traditional co-op situation where you can just, okay, me and my buddies are going to hop into the same lobby and go do a mission, right? This is kind of their answer to that. This is what they were going for. And I can respect the fact they didn't make it a live service, like monetization slop fest or whatever. I think that that's pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm like, how can you sell 3.5 million copies and your 24-hour peak hasn't gone up since release? It's very strange. It's biggest on PlayStation. Let me tell you, Techly, you're probably not wrong about that. When I was playing Dark Souls 3 on my Xbox like 5 years ago, I couldn't find anybody online. When I tried summoning people to fight bosses and stuff, there was like not a single mofo anywhere. Like I couldn't get help from anybody. Dark Souls 3, that game broke me mentally because I had to do most of the bosses on my own, which, I mean, they weren't all terrible. Some of the bosses were obviously easier than others, but I mean, I had never played a Souls game before, so for me, Dark Souls 3 was my entry into it, and that game was brutal. A lot of people playing on PS5, but even then the rating's not high, around 3.5 out of 5. Not enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the review, the rating is finally up to 73, almost 74%. 74% positive is still the worst Dark Souls, or Souls-like, I should say, FromSoft game review ever. The funny thing is, I guess the director came out and said that he soloed every single boss without relics, and that wants players to know it's very possible to see everything. This is like one of those moments. I can respect it, but at the same time, he's just basically saying, get good, scrub. The funnier one, though, was this article here, where Ethan Gach over at Kotaku was bitching about how there's apparently unskippable boss cutscenes at the very end. It's like, so you're running nonstop for 40 minutes. The common complaint I've seen from people is that the game is too fast-paced, given the fact that it's a Souls game. And people have a hard time like keeping up with their teammates and all that. And then you got this dude over here going, oh no, but I hate this cutscene. Just let me go die. I'm gonna die. He says literally down here at the bottom of the article, something about how, let me rush to my downfall rather than being forced to contemplate its inevitability for an extra 15 seconds. I mean, that's game journalist in a nutshell for you right there. And I get it. Not everybody wants to sit through the same cutscene over and over again. When I was first playing Expedition 33, I did not realize that you could skip the cutscenes. So if you fail at a boss and you go back, it's like, holy shit, I'm not going to have to watch the same thing over and over and over again, right? Miyazaki didn't make it. Drones don't like it. I mean, that could be it. To be fair, that could be part of it. From what I've seen of it, I watched people play it. It looks like fun. I would probably really enjoy it. I would pick it up if I thought that, you know, I had time or inclination to play it. Hey, Remy, you enjoyed it? I mean, it seems fine, you know. I would probably have fun. You thought it was a simple asset flip, but it's pretty fun. It is. It is. And at least to their credit, it's not a quote-unquote full-price game. It's a $40 game. So at least they're not like fleecing people left and right. That's a good thing, in my opinion. All right, so from gamesindustry.biz, we had this article come out about this game, Mindseye. Have you guys seen anything about this game? I have not seen a freaking word about this game at all, other than negative, right? The only thing I know about this game is people hate it. It's one thing that keeps Dark Souls on top, the unrepentant dedication to kicking the player in the balls. And Black Cat, we're sheep. We love it. We love getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over again. People are masochists, okay? I swear to God, that people should be studied based on the fact that, okay, I'm sure Animal Crossing still has a very large, very active, very vibrant audience, right? But the majority of people, the majority of gamers, I should say, don't play cozy games. People who play mobile games, people who play Candy Crush. Those are your target audience for like cozy games, right? I would assume the vast majority of gamers, as people who call themselves as such, don't mind punishing bosses, don't mind beating their head into a wall over and over and over again, you know? Some games really seem like money laundering or someone ripping off the studio. Dude, there have been so many of those. What was that one day before day before tomorrow, day after tomorrow? The zombie game that came out last year that was a complete rug pull, complete piece of shit game. Yeah, men want a challenge. We don't want it to be handed to us, you know? We don't want, well, unless you're a game journalist. But at that same point, if you're a game journalist, are you really a man? I don't know. Cozy gamers are female. I think that there are some guys, and this is something I'll give a pass. Once in a while, it's okay to play a game where you're just unplugging your brain and doing some simple task over and over again, right? That's okay. Like, I don't think you have to be a woman to enjoy something that's a little more slow pace, calm, relaxing than something that's super hardcore. Game looks soy right there. Dude, you're not even kidding. I know nothing about this game, but when you look at this right here, I'm like, boy, this is inspiring, right? This looks like it was created by freaking AI. That's what this looks like. But yes, I mean, obviously the majority of cozy gamers are going to be female. I think that there's no point even trying to dispute that. All right, so this one here, senior executives leave Build a Rocket Boy. First off, I hate the name of that studio. Days ahead of Mindseye's release. Neither have given reasons for their departure. So, kind of to fill us in a little bit, Mindseye first gameplay overview trailer came out 8 days ago. Hit 400,000 views on YouTube, 9,000 likes to 2,500 dislikes. Doesn't even seem like that many people care, to be honest. Even AI can do better than this. I just want to play a little snippet of this because I haven't even seen any of this. I have seen nothing about this game at all. Should I unmute it? I could unmute it. We'll go ahead and unmute this.
Your story takes place in the city of Red Rock, a desert metropolis where corporate greed and political ambition are in constant friction. In a future that's closer than we think, technology takes care of almost everything, so we don't have to.
Of course, sir.
Artificial intelligence connects every device into one all-knowing system.
What was your comment, Avernum? The only appreciable feature of that day before game was the character's booty in the gameplay reveal video. Gotta get out before my resume is sullied. Majority of women are cozy non-gamers. That's a better claim. I would say that that is true, yes, 100%.
But you are not part of the system. You are Jacob Diaz. What starts out as a personal quest as you step into the lead role in a conspiracy involving criminal forces, an unchecked military, and a threat so sinister it endangers the survival of humanity.
Who gets out of a car while being shot at like that? That man had no care to protect his head whatsoever. Holy crap. Okay. How did this video get more likes than dislikes? That's what I want to know. When Cyberpunk made a baby with GTA, you'll get Mindseye. You're too retarded to be part of any system. Hell yeah, that's exactly it, Hook.
You have expert skills, making you extremely valuable to some.
Wait. Hang on. Do you guys see the irony? Listen to what he says here. My man gets out of the car. He doesn't even like try to like roll out of the car, duck out of it. He just is like sitting there with his big ass head sticking out, okay? Walks right out into the open during a gunfight. And listen to what they say.
Endangers the survival of humanity. You have expert skills, making you extremely valuable to some. But
you have expert skills, making you extremely valuable. The man is standing in the middle of a street getting shot. And it's like, oh, you have expert skills. You're a bullet sponge.
Highly dangerous to others.
God, this game is ass.
Still out there.
Walks away from his one point of cover. Yep.
Remember that girl, the hacker?
Yeah, Robin Hood.
Turns out she's been holed up downtown in some kind of safe house. Can you drive?
Can you shoot?
Oh my god. Oh. Okay. I'm all for the natural look once in a while. But this woman is ugly. Holy crap.
Turns out she's been holed up downtown in some kind of safe house. Can you drive?
Can you shoot?
Woo! I don't know, man. That's pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. He used a GTA cheat. It's another Netflix pitch. Dude, God, this is so bad. I mean, I don't understand how this game didn't get disliked like the ratio. That's crazy. They went for extra plane, yeah.
With increasingly perilous situations, you must form unlike.
It's like they took a glazed raised donut and washed all the glaze off of it. So instead you just have like a soggy raised donut. China Rican. Mia Goth from Temu. Holy shit.
To survive.
Coordinates are in the GPS. Now drive.
Your talents at the wheel will be called upon as you find yourself both the hunter and hunted.
Oh man, okay. So Ciri on that tech demo was looking pretty good, right? I mean, she looking pretty good compared to what we're seeing in this here. Oh, the Asian girl, dude. Although, Geek, honestly, I think I like, is it Sael better? Something about that character, like both the women in that game are so well done as far as like their unique look. And it's not unique like we talk about with like freaking Netflix and shit where unique is another, like a code word for ugly as shit, right? Those two characters, Lune and Sael, look beautiful in their own ways, and still they don't look like they're overdone. They're not, again, overly sexualized. They're not, they're just so freaking well done. It's crazy.
Dramatic new twists explode.
Yep, the barefoot one.
With a variety of unique situations to solve.
Don't give up on us.
Involving protecting others, defending.
Now there's the real question, GDR. Ciri looked good, but there wasn't a Witcher in sight. Why is it called The Witcher? Thank you. That goes back to the main issue that most normal people have had the entire time. We don't care that she's the protagonist. We don't care that, again, the story evolved and it follows her story now. I was totally on board with all that. I don't care. That's fine. Make her the lead of the next story, but make it a story about Ciri. Don't make her the female freaking Geralt, and that's all they freaking did. Oh, dude, Black Cat, this is like, honest to God, this is like you get some first or second year, develop like a game developing student or something that's gonna like develop. This looks like shit that somebody could make on their computer at home. I'm not even kidding. This is garbage.
Assets. And even making space in the stratosphere.
Oh no, Geek, you can ask my wife. My wife is white, but I have the Asian persuasion for sure. I get it. No, I think the characters, oh my God, there's a moment, not to ruin anything for you, Geek, I'm not gonna do any spoilers. They even went in a scene, because again, the story of Expedition 33 is so good. I don't think it's emasculating for the men. There's a lot of women, but they're not like girl bosses and overpowering, and like they don't demean anybody, right? It's all, the characters are all really good, really likable in their own way. But there's a scene where the two girls are talking, and it could go super like homoerotic at one point, but it doesn't. It's platonic. There's like friendship and stuff in there. So again, it's just, the game is done so well, and the gameplay's great. The gameplay's a lot of fun. The turn-based with quick-time events is fantastic.
Things don't have much fuel.
Arc Raiders is going to be massive, dude. Arc Raiders will be massive. There's no doubt about that.
Your journey means you must battle your way through Red Rock's sometimes extravagant, fortified, secret, and treacherous locations.
How is this treacherous? This man is a bullet sponge. There's literally no stakes in this game.
A wide array of tools and weaponry to engage with. ranging from the conventional to the exotic. You will reactivate the mindseye implant, which is fused to a companion drone, allowing you a whole new perspective and a strategic advantage in reconnaissance and combat.
Wait. The entire pitch of this game is that you have a drone. That's it. The entire premise of this game is that in combat you have a drone to look around with. Wait. Yesterday someone claimed that they liked the first reveal of Ciri, and again, I have no problem with that, but are happy that it got changed because it silences the haters. That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, like I've said before, I could understand if they said nothing changed about it. It's just camera angles, lighting, whatever. Okay, one's a tech demo, one's a cinematic trailer, versus in-game, they're all gonna look different. I can wrap my head around all those different things being true in their own way. What I can't wrap my head around is them saying it's the same face, but we did change things. Well, if you change things, it's not the same face anymore. You change things to make them look better in the tech demo. Clearly because she looks better in the tech demo. The video should have been a showcase with the gameplay. The Witcher is supposed to be out soon and still no gameplay shown. Right. Drone warfare, baby. Yeah. Oh, man. I hate those videos on frickin' Twitter. Holy shit. Anytime people share, like, wartime videos with drones, I'm like, can we just not? Can we just not do this? Right. No, there were things that they changed. Hook, there were. Because they legit said that they changed her eyes and her eyebrows. So that right there, that does change the character's face. My point was more if they hadn't, if it was just lighting or lenses to bring different stuff, then whatever. But they even admitted that they did change things, you know? I'm happy that it flies in the face of the media narrative. That's what makes me happy. I mean, here's the thing. You're going to get people on both sides all the time. Like Grum's proclaiming that he's the reason behind this, or Endymion saying that they saved gaming, that they single-handedly are the reason that things are getting better. When there's a lot of really shitty-ass games still coming out, so I don't know that things are all fixed now. It's like saying that, you know, the woke is dead and Pride Month is completely gone. It's like, no, this stuff's going to be around for a long time if it ever doesn't go away. I'd be shocked, right? But you're going to have people taking victory laps regardless, even if there's nothing to celebrate, you know, having victory over. At the end of the day, the only thing you can control is whether you want to support a company financially based on your perceived value of what they're offering and whether or not you think that they respect you as a customer or as a human being. And that's what you should really base it off of, you know? They changed during the cutscenes, but what about in-game? We don't have in-game footage, GDR. That's the problem. We have nothing, you know? Pattern recognition. There you go.
The companion drone has a powerful stun function, which can disable enemies, allowing
Oh
you
my
to...
god. Imagine releasing this thinking that this would look good. This game comes out in like a week, doesn't it? Hang on a second. So there's an article to go with this. A concerted effort to trash the game is what the mindseye lead thinks negative reception is coming from paid bots, and seemingly blames Rockstar. So this game comes out in a couple of weeks. Latest game from Grand Theft Auto producer Leslie Benzies. The response to mindseye has been rather mixed since it was revealed, and especially since recent previews. The Build a Rocket Boys co-CEO suggested on Discord that this response was being paid for. It's like they don't believe that we have our own opinions. That's the craziest thing. Anytime you're arguing with somebody online and they don't like your opinion, they call you a bot. You're just a bot. Like, okay. That's news to me because in my mind, the way this works is if we're all living in a simulation, I'm real and you're all the bots. You're all the simulated people. Like, I'm real, you're a bot. So, okay. I could see what was happening without those fellas. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the companies themselves are the reason things are getting quote unquote better, if you will. Because they keep putting out shitty products. Shitty products keep failing. And so there you go. GDR, nothing has changed for the better. What has changed at CD Projekt Red is they've had developers leave the studio. Now again, talking about this whole the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 thing with Warhorse Studio. Good, bad, or otherwise, I'm pretty sure Warhorse Studio was the one that said people at CD Projekt Red were having issues using UE5 because nobody there had experience with it. And in fact, I think they poached some of the developers to go work at Warhorse. Then you have, again, Rebel Wolves, the spin-off studio from CD Projekt Red working on Dawnwalker, where they took a lot of people that knew how to use engines and stuff over there and make games and develop, good stories and stuff, because they all worked on Witcher 3, and they're working on Dawnwalker now. So what you have now, I'm sure, at CD Projekt Red, because this is what they've been recruiting, is a bunch of the diversity hires. They've been trying to get these women in games initiatives to go through and actually have success and try to get these, up-and-coming, modern audience-loving feminists and shit working there. So should you have faith in CD Projekt Red at this point? No, you shouldn't. That doesn't mean that the game won't be good. That doesn't mean that it can't be good. But it just means to be hesitant, I owed money because I'm clearing out my intestines pretty regularly on their slop. Oh man, but yeah, I've heard of this thing. It should have been a RoboCop game because the man is just walking at like a snail's pace. It's insane. So Mark Gerhardt, the co-CEO. Now it's also a concern. I would think that when there's a co-CEO, right? Pretty crazy. That he thinks the negative reception to the game is being paid for, and it sounds like he's hinting at blaming Rockstar and Take-Two. Although it can largely feel like open world games in the vein of Grand Theft Auto have died off over the last few years, there are some developers trying to capture that magic. Perhaps the biggest example is mindseye, a new open world game from former GTA producer Leslie Benzies that is releasing in just a few weeks. I cannot believe this game is close to release. That is insane. It looks so bad. Oh my god. mindseye has been on a bit of a weird road since it was first announced, and that wasn't really helped by a lack of gameplay and information. Builder Rocket Boy tried to fix this recently with some previews from content creators and a new overview trailer, but the response hasn't been all that positive. It looks as bad as some of the AI-made independent games that I've played that I've gotten from Keymailer. That is how bad it looks. Yeah, CDPR, not pre-order type of studio, exactly. Most companies don't offer anything worth pre-ordering. I mean, I'm not even going to pre-order Stellar Blade. I'll pick it up when it releases, probably day one when it's available. Because again, yeah, you can get it on sites like G2A or Instant Gaming or whatever cheaper. So I'll pick it up once I know that it's good, that people are having, success with it. Look at the Jump Ship game when you get a chance. Sea of Thieves in space with FTL roguelike progression. What the hell? Jump Ship. That's interesting. I'll take a look at that in a second. So, as reported by Eurogamer, Gerhard took to Mindseye's Discord server and responded to a comment asking if he believed that all the people who reacted negatively were financed by someone, which he agreed by saying 100%. After being called out for this, Gerhard said, "Not wild when it's true." So he thinks that Rockstar is trying to take down his game. Oh, Remy, there's nothing wrong with that. For me personally, I'm not going to pre-order it just because I don't need to have it day one. It's probably going to take some time for me to get around to playing it. You said Jump Ship, right? Let me see here. I'm not going to watch a 22-minute video on it. Here's a minute and 9 seconds. You got burned by pre-ordering Cyberpunk? Yeah. So what are we looking at here? Oh, I think I've seen something about this. I don't know how I feel about this at all. I really don't. Why is there a piece of pizza? I just early access summer 2025. Jump ship is what Bethesda should have done. Sea of Thieves in space, huh? So is there PvPvE on this then? You already downloaded the sexy mods for Stellar mods. Sorry, for Stellar Blades. That's some incredibly concentrated copium. He's on if he thinks that Rockstar would give a singular lonesome F about this mind's eye thing. Oh, for real, dude. Pineapple pizza 0 out of 10. Yes, exactly. We don't do that around here. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, Shiranui. If that's what you're into, then that's fine. I just personally have no use for kind of the goofy games. I just don't have time for it yet. You know, maybe when my maybe when my kids are all grown up and out of the house, and I don't have to go to different baseball practices and games and stuff on the weekends, I'll get into like the human fall flat type games and all that stuff, right? But yeah, for me personally, it's just kind of, I don't know. I look at that kind of stuff and go, not something that I would definitely be jumping into and getting excited about. I don't know. Here's a funny one. Do you guys remember Outriders? That game came out freaking like 2 years ago. Breath Edge 2 looks better. I didn't realize there was a Breath Edge 2. Hang on a second. I never got around to playing Breath Edge 1. There's a Breath Edge 2? Hang on, let's see here. Breath Edge 2. Oh, a year ago the reveal trailer came out. What? Official demo release trailer? My resistance to the obscene and perverse is sufficient that the Lord made me resilient against pepperoni pineapple with ranch. Oh, it's better than arguing with parents like South of Midnight. You are not wrong about that. All right, Breath Edge 2. I guess we'll look at the reveal trailer. I don't remember this being teased. Now, in the first game, you're in space the entire time, I thought, right? Oh wait, is this co-op? Huh. I don't know, I'm gonna have to give that a look. Oh yeah, the chicken. I mean, that'll probably do pretty well. Breath is pretty hot. I don't want to know what you mean by pretty hot. So Outriders, this game that came out and fizzled out super fast. Apparently the developer already has like more freaking slop on their hands that they have to figure out what to do with. The developer People Can Fly blames lack of communication with publisher Square Enix for game cancellation. They're not talking about Outriders either. That's the craziest part. Poverty Borderlands. Yeah, Subnautica in space with a comedic flair. Exactly. So the game is a survival space survival game, but it's done with like, I guess, like comedic shit mixed in. Something again that I just never really had the desire to play it. I watched other people play it. I'm like, it looks interesting, but I just didn't take the time. But I mean, people like it. Breath Edge is a pretty popular game. I mean, I imagine the sequel will do well. So People Can Fly, the Polish studio best known for Outriders and Gears of War Judgment, has confirmed that even more jobs are at risk as it cancels 2 projects, Project Gemini and Project Bifrost. Today we have made a very difficult decision to suspend development of Project Gemini and Bifrost. The relevant current reports that have been released to the market, the CEO Sebastian Wojciechowski wrote in a statement. Suspension of the Gemini project is a consequence of the fact that the publisher has not presented us with a draft of the subsequent content writer to the publishing agreement covering the terms and conditions of further milestone on Project Gemini, and the lack of communication from the publisher as to its willingness to continue or terminate the Gemini project. Basically, they're saying Square won't get shit or get off the pot, I guess. I don't know. Project Bifrost was suspended due to the above and the analysis of the group's cash flow, which showed a lack of prospects for securing organizational resources. Basically, we had no money. We had no cash flow. Show us the money. You liked Astromedica? Games aren't replacements for AAA, but the fact that their gameplay loops make AAA studios look like they're wasting their money when indies make better gameplay loops. Yeah, I mean... Wait, love how some random AI tries to lure you into ending yourself by spamming catfishing messages? That happens in the game? Oh my god, that's awesome. Well, the statement from Wojciechowski does not specify. Good job, guys. Great typing here. What publishing companies led to the decision to halt development? The Outriders developer's own website confirms Gemini was partnered with Square Enix and Bifrost was a self-published project. Square Enix is yet to comment. Well, maybe you guys just shouldn't be making video games. I don't know. Maybe at this point, you just need to stop. I love it. Conversation. Have fun. Don't be mean. Feel free to criticize ideas, not people. This is IGN to a T, right? Guy says, okay, what do you want us to do about it? You guys go too big and none of their games were massive sellers like SE was hoping. Makes sense to scale back. Yeah. What do you expect? Do you guys remember how big of a flop Outriders really was? It was a massive bust. That game, and I was legitimately at the time kind of excited about the game. I'm like, well, it could be pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting. It was on Game Pass. I was like, all right, well, I've got a PC now that'll play these games. It could be really cool. If I remember correctly, the oxygen upgrade was a giant condom you have to inflate. Had a weird sense of humor, but not bad. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that was just kind of the general vibe of the game, was those really raunchy jokes and stuff. But yeah, that's just nuts. I can't even right now with some of these people. It's like imagine not understanding the situation that you've created for yourself. It's like, dude, this is where people are not feeling any remorse for AAA video game industry because of the fact that they've spent so much freaking time and money just wasting millions of dollars year after year on garbage, right? Hey, Empress. Gaming journalists are beyond retarded. So yeah, in response to this whole thing with mindseye, senior executives leave Build a Rocket Boy days ahead of mindseye's release. Neither have given reasons for their departures. This is funny because this is going to be similar to what we're seeing with Free Game, where I guess one of the co-founders of the studio has already left from Fair Game. Mindseye developer Build a Rocket Boy's chief legal officer and chief financial officer have announced they've left the company a week before the game's June 10th release. In a statement on LinkedIn, former CLO Riley Grabner says he was proud of what they've accomplished, but didn't expand on why he'd left or what his next steps will be. After 3.5 years, my time at Barb. Oh god, the acronym for their studio is Barb. Oh my god. Outriders pissed me off so much. Outriders, I tell ya, that was something else. I have never gone from, I'd say, I wasn't hyped about the game, but I've never gone from so positively excited about a game to not giving two shits about it as quickly as I have about that game. I don't know, I guess it just didn't live up to the expectations was the biggest problem, because the game seemed really cool, had a lot of hype going, up to release. I downloaded and played it for a couple of nights in a row, and I'm like, I'm not having fun. The game wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't entertaining. The gameplay itself kind of sucked. I'm just like, I didn't have a reason to play it. And that's unfortunately a lot of games that exist. They just don't seem to have a reason to be there, Let's see. I'm proud of what we've accomplished. During that time, we've more than doubled the size of the... Wait. How is that an accomplishment? Explain this to me, guys. How is doubling the size of their company to 450 people an accomplishment? We launched multiple products worldwide. We built the legal team and legal ops infrastructure from the ground up, working to systemize and automate, he said before name-checking his brilliant and hardworking legal team. How is it a brag that you've added employees to a studio that's about to release a game that is going to get, it's probably going to destroy the studio. Like this mind's eye thing looks god awful. The sticky controls did my head in. You don't remember Outriders? You throw a grenade and you couldn't move the camera. The game was ass, man. Outriders was straight up garbage. Let me see if I can find Outriders. Yes, we hired people, exactly. The official reveal trailer, yes. But was there actually gameplay in here?
We awoke.
Reminds me of Anthem, yeah, a little bit.
To another. Not on our dying Earth, but somewhere much worse.
I do remember one of the first things I noticed about this game at the time, though, and again, this is a reveal trailer from 5 years ago, so I wasn't really as plugged into all this crap as I am now. One of the first things I noticed was the shaved head chick. That was definitely one of those things. Yeah, 5 people for BattleBit, 1 person for Schedule 1, 30 on Expedition 33.
We came to Enoch as our last chance, a chance at a new home. But what we
Anthem
found
did fail
to
harder.
save humanity. It consumed it.
Oh god, oh, that chick is so ugly. It's just corporate word salad. If they ran a law firm, then increasing the legal team size might be a good idea, but they aren't Nintendo, so there's no need. Well, yeah. Nintendo could just stop making games and just spend the rest of their existence suing everybody in game development, and they would be financially, like, flush for the rest of, like, the century. It would be insane. This character, holy shit. Now, I can't remember, because there were different classes of characters in this game. I can't remember if you could customize the character. I can't remember if they were set as a like preset by male or female. Like you couldn't change each class. Like if this class is a female, this class is a male. I cannot recall. Oh, mama, this is an ugly ass bitch. Holy crap.
We awoke changed. The anomaly unleashed within us.
You played it with 2 other friends, yet the gameplay was that bad that none of us were having fun. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it just wasn't fun to play.
Burning with power. Impossible power.
And I remember they were trying to go for like this almost like Mad Max vibe because it was all like dystopian and you had these raiders and stuff that had like the skulls and everything. They were trying to go for like this really edgy, like graphic, violent, motif, if you will. But I don't know. It just didn't land.
Enoch robs us of our humanity, yet gives us so much more. Each step taking us further from what we were.
Yeah, no, this game was just not fun. It was just not good. Let's see, where was the demo at? But yeah, so this studio here is the one that's canceling projects and blaming Square Enix. Go figure. Let's try to see if there's anybody in game development these days who can take accountability for their own mistakes. But no, probably not. Where were we at here? Feel like they're trying to copy Remnants? Yeah, it kind of looks like Remnant, doesn't it? Although, to be fair, I didn't play Remnant, but based on what I've seen of it, yeah, it actually is a similar kind of idea. Maybe Concord took that title. Dude, okay. Concord is in a league of its own, obviously. The game made it less than 2 weeks before they shut it down. Allegedly cost $400 to $600 million. Took upwards of 8 years, if I recall properly, on development and everything else. Sure, Concord is one for the ages. There will never be anything worse than Concord. However, I think Marathon's got a chance at giving it like a run for its money. I think really Marathon could be almost on the same level. The thing about it, like Fair Game, is I don't think Fair Game necessarily is going to have the amount of money pumped into it that Marathon has had so far. So again, the level of success or failure, a lot of it, hinges on how much money was spent and how much time was spent developing the game itself. But freaking Marathon, I swear to God, that game, the more I think about the fact that they had a state of play today, we've already seen that they cut back on all the marketing for the game. They have a Sony state of play, no mention of Marathon. So, okay, you could argue maybe they'll talk about Marathon in 2 days at the Summer Game Fest. But if you are doing a Sony state of play, and Marathon is a Bungie exclusive, now hang on a second, was Marathon going to be Sony on PlayStation and PC only? I can't remember if it was going to be kept off of Xbox or not. But again, Bungie in partnership with Sony, Marathon should have been at the state of play. There's no way that game is not screwed at this point. Remnant 2 was fun. I've always heard good things about Remnant. I just have never gotten around to playing it. With people's pattern recognition, Marathon may come very, very close to Concord. It's possible. I mean, it's entirely possible. Don't get me wrong. I could see it happening. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, technically, being a live service title, they do have to keep it going. They have to have. They have to have the dedication to have the servers running and updates and patches and stuff. They might just pull the plug on that game too. Who knows? I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter which one it is, guys. Marathon, Anthem, Concord, Fair Game, Outriders, all these games. It's just more money flushed down the toilet year after year. It's crazy because it's not like people haven't given these games chances. It's not like people just hate everything. Like, it's not just constant hate, like, oh my God, I hate this. Like, look, I'm actually excited about Arc Raiders. Am I ever going to have time to play it if I buy the game? Probably not, but I'll give it a shot. I absolutely will pick up Arc Raiders, because the game looks legitimately fun. It looks like a good time, And that's all we want. That's all you really want out of a video game is a good time. You want to feel like you're getting something for your money. What's the exit shooter that looks like Concord that's coming out? Yeah, Marathon, that's the one. Oh, dude, the whole Marathon name, the idea to call it Marathon and then have it be like, oh, we're going to call all these guys runners. You're all runners now. Like, okay. You do realize that running is something that most people don't enjoy. Even people who are athletic, a lot of people don't like running, right? So now you call all of your characters in the game runners. Like, okay, runners, get ready, runners. I hate that shit so much. It's not even funny. I am not seeing any of these 9060 graphics cards available yet, guys. It's 11 o'clock on the West Coast. I'm a little worried that I'm gonna wake up in the morning and they're gonna all be gone. Let me see. I'm just gonna Google the 9060 XT and see if anybody has them available. Okay, Micro Center, but Micro Center doesn't ship. Everything at Micro Center you have to buy in person. See, yeah, in stores June 5th. I don't mind running Empress. Here's the thing: I don't mind running, but I try to conserve my calorie output because if I run too much, I lose weight way too fast. That whole high metabolism thing. Saints Row, Flint Flop. Oh, that's a good one. Forspoken, Dustborn. The thing about like Dustborn was not a AAA mega, $400 million title, right? It's funny to make fun of games like Dustborn and Dustborn and even Flintlock. I don't think Flintlock had the budget of a lot of these other flops. I could be wrong. I mean, it was a Game Pass exclusive when it first launched. I'm sure it had a lot of money put into it, but I don't think to the same extent. I think it's a little bit different. Yeah. Why are you running? Why are you running? Let me see. Yeah, no, I wish that I lived in a state that had a Micro Center. That would be amazeballs, but I don't, unfortunately. Stopped liking running when I realized that it gives you the runs, and my aversion to it just decreased after my Crohn's got diagnosed. See, Avernum, I've got Crohn's, but despite the fact that it almost freaking killed me 4 years ago. They say it's mild because it's treatable with medication. So I take Stelara once every 2 months, and for the most part, it doesn't give me too many fits. But I've got the Crohn's, high metabolism, and a herniated disc in my back. So physical fitness, while I still try to exercise a couple times a week, and I'm physical because I'm out with my kids, doing baseball stuff and all that, and working on my feet all the time. It does make it interesting. It makes it a little bit more challenging. You just got the 9070. Oh, hell yeah. No, see, I'm not going to spend that kind of money right now. I'm trying to basically put a Band-Aid on my computer because the GPU is the only thing that's really struggling. So I look at it like this. I could spend $350 now on a 16 gigabyte 9060 XT. And in a couple of years, when I do a new computer, new AM5 build with DDR5 RAM and everything else, then I'll get the big GPU, whatever I want to do at that point. Little running's always fun. Running is fine. Yeah, no, it's a list of reasons why I try to avoid running, There's a lot. Let me try the shopping tab. I love it. I Google 9060 and it pops up a bunch of New Balance tennis shoes. Like, this is not what we want. There's also a lot of these Chinese websites like Tekken.com that has like a 9070 XT, a Sapphire, which is my graphics card I have here, for $876. I'm like, that's not legit. That is not legit. All right, so apparently nobody has the 9060s available yet, despite the fact that it is technically June 5th somewhere. It's June 5th somewhere, but I can't buy one of these yet. Oh, this is gonna kill me. AMD. AMD-doo. I have had good luck with AMD with this graphics card. Although, my other two computers in the house both have 4060s. And neither one of them need it because my son hardly ever uses his computer. And my wife doesn't need a 4060 in hers. I just bought it because I got a good price on it at the time. So it's crazy. Both their computers have better cards than mine does. But I want to stick with AMD, and I want to get a Sapphire Pulse if possible because I'm a big fan of my graphics card I've had. It's just been very reliable. Oh yeah, Joe, it's all scams. Any of these sites where it's like, oh, well, we buy in bulk, so you have to, it's all scam. 4060 Ti works fine. Yeah, it's not like I have a problem with NVIDIA as a whole. It's just more the fact that here's the thing. When something works, you just kind of feel like you don't want to rock the boat, right? You want to stick with it, and that's how I feel about this graphics card I've had for 5.5 years now. It's done the job. It's performed as admirably as it can, given the circumstances. And so I kind of want to stick with something in the same vein. So stick with AMD, stick with the same brand if I can get the Sapphire Pulse, and just get the 9060. You've had 5 NVIDIA cards in my life? Damn. No, see, for me, I've only built 3 computers. Now, I know it's more than some people ever build in their lifetime, but this is my first official build, the one that's covered in stickers. I put pictures of on Discord before. And I've swapped out everything except the motherboard and the graphics card. Motherboard, I'm not swapping out. I will build a new computer. I'm not going to do that. But that being said, I just want to replace this GPU as soon as possible, just to get me a couple more years of satisfactory life out of this PC. So we can end off with this. Nothing video game related, but I find this shit funny as hell. Apparently they're claiming Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck are going to replace Kathleen Kennedy as co-heads of Lucasfilm, as if that's somehow going to save Lucasfilm. Companies don't remain the same year to year, especially these days. That is very true, Black Cat. That is something to consider. So while I might have some sort of weird brand loyalty when it comes to specific parts, you are not wrong. Just get the 4060 off my kids or wife's PC and replace it with power supply is powerful enough and you'll be all set. I was thinking that I would just, if I really wanted to, I could just swap out my GPU with one of their GPUs. But honestly, I don't want to mess with their builds. Well, not to mention I got the white one to match my wife's build, so I'm like, I got her the pink drop pod case, and then I put all white stuff in there. So I don't want to put a white GPU in my computer. It wouldn't look good. Although my computer's a Frankenstein mess anyway, so who cares? But no, my kid's computer also looks really good. It was a Lenovo that died, and then I figured out it was the GPU bricked. There was a 3060 in that one. So I saved the processor, the not the RAM sticks, the hard drive, and a couple other parts out of the computer. Got a new case, new motherboard, all new other stuff. Put everything in there together. Got a new card, and that's my third build. Star Wars is still, dude. I would say Star Wars is more DOA now. I don't trust Dave Filoni as far as I can throw him. Hell, at least Kathleen Kennedy is honest about how much she hates actual Star Wars fans. Dave Filoni is like, people thought he was like the freaking savior of Star Wars, that he was the actual apprentice of George Lucas. And then I think it was George Lucas came out and basically said, no. You know? Card's worth it and they're not using it. Well, okay. So in terms of my wife's, because she does actually like a lot of like design stuff for, you know, like Etsy business that she has, that is one thing. I don't want to rock the boat on that one. But then in terms of, yo, Smig,
I like to be. Do I need to be liked? Absolutely.
How you doing, buddy?
I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked.
I have to be liked. Dude, 5 gifted. Holy crap, you woke me up with that one, man. Appreciate you, dude. Are you still buying sell PCs? Not much money in it now. I mean, it's become such a different business than it used to be. You know, it's very strange. It's very different. You said you built hundreds. You used to buy and sell PCs. Yeah. No, it's fun. Honestly, my brother built a computer back in the day, back before. God, I feel like that's back when the internet was still young and there wasn't like how to do everything accessible 24/7. And I was like blown away that he actually did all the research on how to build a computer, right? And then 2019 is when I built my computer in November. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, I had a friend put everything in the cart for me. And then he walked me through putting it together over the course of like 4 hours. And I was going to have a panic attack doing that. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to break something. Now it's like, it's really not hard. Once you've done it before, you're sick. Oh, dude, my condolences. Get feeling better, man. Knock on wood. Empress has had me taking this propolis stuff. We talked about it before. And I don't know if adding that to my daily like vitamins that I take has done much, but my kids have all been sick a couple times and I haven't gotten it. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep taking that shit. It tastes terrible, but knock on wood, it's still working. So yeah, but no, PC building now, honestly, is so much easier, I think, than it used to be. But yeah, I don't think that there's as much of a market for just, you know, individually buying, fixing up, selling PCs. Hell, my brother back 15, maybe close to 20 years ago, used to buy like broken iPods and stuff and fix them and sell them on eBay. And he actually made a chunk of money doing that for a while until the world changed and evolved and nobody bought iPods anymore, you know? Joe Rogan talks about building a computer back in the day to play Quake. Oh my God. Yeah, no, my computer building years have been in the last 5. Yeah, so Empress, I typically take that stuff first thing in the morning. Like, I'll get my morning coffee, walk the dog, come inside, start getting ready for work. Take that stuff, take my vitamins, and then go brush my teeth. And I'm like, ugh, can't stand the flavor. But so far, it seems to be, I'd say, marginally helping. Plus, I've been doing a lot more like herbal teas and stuff in the evening. So I haven't done push-ups for a few days. I didn't get to the gym this weekend because I've been so freaking busy with baseball and sports. But I'm still trying to do, like, during the day when I'm at work, I'm still trying to get some push-ups in and all that. So yeah, no, I'm trying to get myself back into better general shape. Although everything freaking hurts. I tell you what, holy crap. I got to the end of the day. I got to the baseball field from work. I had to swing by the house, pick up my oldest son, take him to his practice, run back to the baseball field. My younger son had just started his game. I kind of like there's no seats available, so I'm just kind of crouched down, sitting there on my knees basically, and I'm like, my body hurts. I'm so tired. It's crazy right now. Like I don't know how I'm gonna function like 6 months from now. My body is just struggling. Oh god, I don't even care. Like I'm finishing up. So here's the thing. I've been watching Andor season 2. And what I've noticed about Andor, you work out while watching anime? Hell yeah, there you go. What I've noticed about watching Andor is I just don't care. Even though the show is better. Even though the show, Andor is probably one of the best Disney Star Wars shows, Disney Star Wars anythings that has existed in the last, I don't know, 10 years. Despite that, I find it really hard to actually get invested or care. Like, there are genuinely characters on Andor that I like. But one thing I also noticed about it, I was talking about, I think, on Discord a couple days ago, the show is very chaotic. It's hard to follow. The names of characters, half the characters, by season 2, I still don't know half their names. I have no idea, you know? I still believe in having a separate audio device, never had an iPod. Okay, so technically, here's the problem with that. I agree, and I 100% support that, but good luck finding an MP3 player, just an MP3 player, that isn't some piece of shit made in China crap, okay? Because we did this for my kids for Christmas because we all started going to the gym together, and we wanted to get them MP3 players. They don't make them. Like, no notable, like, reputable brand makes a MP3 player these days that probably isn't hundreds of dollars. So in that actual, like, affordable MP3 player market, like, I still have an old MP3 player that, hell, if it charges, it might work. It's like that big. It just went in a little arm sleeve like thing when I was working out. And you could plug your headphones into it. It had no Bluetooth. It was just a plug-in thing. But they don't make things like that these days. So, oh, I liked Andor because I got to see a smart telling of how the Empire operates. Yeah, Black Cat, my only problem with Andor in that respect is the fact that basically Star Wars always had a certain Earth-like quality to it in the fact that even though George Lucas didn't want glasses, he didn't want zippers, he didn't want anything that was recognizable as being Earth, you still had to have ceiling lights. You still had to have basic things that looked similar, like cups and plates and stuff, you know, utensils, things that you'd use on any planet. So there is that reality that, you know, you had to have things that looked somewhat relatable, because whether it was a different planet or Earth, everyone has to eat off of something, right? You have to pee into something in the bathroom. That being said, Andor feels like it is either a cyberpunk type show or like Blade Runner. It feels more like an alternate version of Earth than it does Star Wars. Because as I'm watching every episode, I'm noticing like an office desk that has like an office lamp that looks like one you'd see at Office Depot or something. Yeah, I'd be worried about the Sony ones being super overpriced, like Kikazu said. I refuse to give an F about Andor with all the garbage that came before. It feels like a flower on top of the garbage pile. Yeah, Ivernum, the thing is, it doesn't change anything about Disney Star Wars. If you already are done with Star Wars because of what Disney's done to it, Andor doesn't fix it. It doesn't change anything. It at least gives you something that's worth watching. But like I said, my issue with it is the fact that the show itself, while it's enjoyable, I'm just having a hard time. Like I've got 2 episodes left in season 2, and there are still characters in the show that I don't know what their plot line was, why they were there, what their name was. Like, okay, so Forrest Whitaker's character from Rogue One makes an appearance at one point in an episode on Andor season 2. I don't know why they brought him in. I don't know why the character that went and talked to him. I have no idea about any of that. They don't explain a single thing about any of that crap. The show is still enjoyable, but it's confusing as hell. I mean, again, they present or create all these plot points where it's like they don't explain why these things happen. So even being the best of Star Wars for Disney, it's still not saying much, if we're being honest about it. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the hay. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow, and basically, at this point now, we've got my oldest son's baseball game tomorrow. If he loses, he's out, but then he has All-Stars starting in a week. My daughter is doing All-Stars practices, as well as she has an elimination game on Friday. She wins that. We have the championship game, which is next week as well, so it's going to be busy for a while. Everyone once told me the Mass Effect universe is much better than Star Wars. Then I played all Mass Effects, and I have to agree with them. It's not that. Look, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like I'm back to old school days, the extended universe, all the books, the original movies. Hated the prequels. The sequels, I've watched one of them. I'm not even going to finish the trilogy. I just don't care. But the thing that they did with Andor that I just don't love is, like I said, it just feels like an alternate version of Earth. And Star Wars, the original movies didn't have that feeling. It almost feels, like I said, more like a Blade Runner inspired film than it does Star Wars. So, yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you all for hanging. I know it was kind of short notice. I just sporadically decided to stream tonight, but figured it was easier than trying to make a video with like asleep brain here. So, probably won't be here on Friday. Might not be here Saturday. If I can, we'll do a stream Saturday night. Otherwise, I will catch you guys later.